morning, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel.
And I'm Cathy Tillery.
We are your host of The Edge with Donna and Cathy. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday.
That's right.
1 p.m. Central, right?
That's right. 1 to 1:30. So mark it. You can catch us on Facebook, Abundant TV. And if you say, what in the world is Abundant TV? Well, you can pull it up on your Roku. All you have to do is add it. And guess what? It's free.
Oh, and I got some news for you.
Okay.
So Rob was on the show yesterday.
Okay.
And Rob made an announcement. We are in Australia.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're worldwide.
Just meet. We're in. Yeah, you know what? They're going to really love our accent.
Oh,
We're from
yeah.
the South.
Well, and a lot of people
don't like us over there.
And a lot of people back years ago, Donna, when I was young, and I was modeling like in New York, they would actually say, "Are you from Texas?" And I'd say, "No, I'm not from Texas."
What is it about people in New York think
well,
we're from Texas?
some it's our southern drawl. You can actually tell someone that is from Georgia. Their southern drawl is a little different than ours. Our southern drawl
is kind of the same.
Well, I think if you speak correctly, maybe, if you want to say, I guess that's the right word. And you don't hear our accent quite as dramatic, maybe.
You should see us off the air.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We really drag it out.
Yeah.
Because everything.
We've got some slang
One
going on.
syllable is going to be two syllables.
Oh, we've got some slang going on. Okay, so I dressed a little fall-y today, and you did too, because now we're in the fall, even though you're in Alabama. So guess what?
Still 100 degrees out there.
Yeah, and for those people like in Australia and all over the world that's watching, right, or all over the United States on Abundant TV and not Facebook, well, in Alabama, you can have all 4 seasons in 1 week.
Oh, but in 1 day, actually.
Yeah.
We've had tornado warnings, one like in the morning, and then snow that night.
Yes, we have.
It's weird. I mean, we
have.
But this is the best place. So if you're thinking about actually starting a business, right here would be the spot.
Oh, Alabama, though, let me tell you, you might can have all 4 seasons in 1 day or 1 week, but it's beautiful.
Well, it's because we like variety.
Oh, yes, because we don't have snow but 1 day, and usually it's gone.
We don't have snow, we have ice.
Yeah. But we don't have much.
Well, you know our friends our Yankees who live up north, they laugh and make fun of us. So one of my friends who is from New York, I said, yeah, laugh and make fun. But your snow is different from our ice.
Yes.
Because it's nice, pretty, fluffy stuff. But you get here as ice.
Yeah, because in Alabama we have to do the salt trucks. Well, they do that up north too. But they have that white, fluffy, good snow.
Good snowman.
Well, people drive in it all the time up there, and here in Alabama, you got to watch out because most Alabamians don't know how to drive in snow.
Oh my goodness!
Because they drive in the ice.
Cathy, you remember the blizzard of '93?
Oh
my
yeah,
God,
that was bad.
Okay, I was working with a bunch of folks from up north at GTE, and they were always making fun, laughing, saying every time just the threat of snow, you all get the bread and milk. There's no bread and milk to be found, which I never do that, but we've got the name of doing that.
Yeah.
So guess what? The blizzard of '93. So then, guess who went to work? Guess who showed up at work?
You did.
I did. None of them did. So this is what I had to do it. So I had everybody's home phone number. So I called Ed and I called everybody. And I said, where are y'all? Like that. And they were going, well, there's a blizzard outside. And I'm going, but I'm at work. Remember? Y'all were making fun of me. Remember? Now, it wasn't fun to drive to work. It was going up Quintard and...
Well, I remember the last big snow, which is actually hadn't been that long ago. What was that, 2013, 15?
I was living in Charlotte.
Yes. Okay, it was really bad. That was when I-20... which is the interstate between Atlanta and Birmingham. And Calhoun County sits in the middle, in between those two large cities. And the interstate was completely shut down. My diabetic daughter got caught in that.
Oh, no.
It all worked out. Everything was to the good, you know. But I remember me and Chris, that's my husband, loaded up in his truck that is a 4-wheel drive. And my son was still home, so he was still in high school. So we loaded up and tried to get to her, and the roads were all closed.
Well, let me
It
ask you
was
a question
really
about
bad,
this
really
because
bad.
you've got a diabetic daughter, and this is, I mean, it could be anything. You get stranded. It could be flooding
Yeah.
situations like they had in Kentucky. So it could be anything that you get stranded out on the road. So if you have, let's say, like you're diabetic, or you have something else where you've got to have medications and you don't have it with you because you freak snowstorm comes up, what does she need to keep in her car?
Well, I was going to tell you what happened was I always, when I took her to the doctor, always we had her diabetic backpack, we called it. And it had extra supplies, extra sites, extra insulin, snacks, water, peanut butter and crackers. And for some reason, that day, which wasn't supposed to ice like it did, nobody knew it was going to do that.
Thing.
She was going for her yearly checkup at the diabetic doctor at Children's Hospital at Children's of Alabama, and her dad took her. He did not have a backpack. He didn't have any supplies, and because I guess they were running late, I can't remember why exactly. She didn't have insulin with her. She did have some snacks and things, but in the midst of all that, I think they had to stay in a hotel, and he actually had to find someone to take him by a four-wheeler from the hotel to the Walmart to get some insulin and syringes until we could get her out of there.
You need a backup plan, just in case you change cars,
But all her life, you diabetic moms can understand this. She has type 1. So it's imperative that they always have supplies. And with fall and winter coming up, it's very important. I actually, when she lived at home, now she's married, but when she lived at home, and I still keep it in my house, a little kit, like a little bitty, just like a little makeup bag. And it's got a sight, and it's got a syringe, it's got some alcohol preps. I actually still, to this day, keep a bottle or two of insulin in my fridge. That way, if something ever happened, she needed some, I wouldn't have to go to her house and then go take it to her. So I keep insulin. And then I actually have ketone strips. That way you can always check their urine to make sure they're not in DKA. If something happened, you were stuck somewhere and didn't have a lot of food, then that's really important. Because the other thing is to have those quick sugars to bring up a sugar. And we actually use things like Starburst, Skittles, which actually they got recalled lately. But Starburst, Skittles, the little Smarties, because those were actually cheaper than buying just the sugar tablets a lot of times. But now I keep sugar tablets still at my house, but because I don't keep so much candy like Skittles and Starburst anymore. I don't eat that anymore. But the kids used to. So now I keep the tablets. But I keep a little bag still packed for her, actually, at my house. But you've got to have those things. Make sure you have protein snacks. Like, luckily, she had some peanuts. She ate peanuts because peanuts didn't raise her blood sugar up very much. And so then that way she could still leave her basal, because she has on an insulin pump. She's been on that since she was 5 years old. So she could actually keep that basal going, which is actually what prevents the DKA. You got to have that continuous insulin going, Type 2 diabetics, now their pancreas still makes some insulin. So they don't get into trouble with the DKA quite as quickly with a type 1 if they're on, especially on an insulin pump, because it's short-acting insulin. You can get into trouble in 4 hours if you don't have insulin on board, but with the type 2 diabetics, usually they take pills or shots a few times a day. Yes, they could still get into trouble, but a lot of times it takes a few days for those highs to start making them feel bad. Whereas the type 1 diabetic, she's going to feel the effects in 2 hours without insulin. She's going to start getting nauseated. Her stomach's going to hurt. She's going to start getting a headache. Basically the same symptoms, if your blood sugar's high. Sadly enough, with the type 1s, they actually can have ketones with a perfect blood sugar. And that's a lot of times it's due to exercise. you know, if they're out running or cheering or playing sports, they're using a lot of energy, you know, so their body's burning it. Whereas someone that's not diabetic, you probably would drink a lot of extra water and your legs wouldn't cramp.
Oh, by the way, that's something else you need to keep in the car too. Bottled water.
Yes.
However, you need to kind of, switch it out every once in a while.
Yeah, about every 6 months, I think they say.
I do once a month.
Do you?
I do, just to be, because we have these hot summers.
She's better than me on that.
No, this girl is. Because of the hot summers. And I always wonder, and I want to ask your opinion about this, because you're in the nursing and you know all this health stuff that I don't know. So have you ever been to like a service station or a grocery store and they have water sitting out there and you see the sun hitting
and it's outside?
I
don't buy those either.
Does that not affect it?
I don't know. But I would think, when you think about it, they tell us plastic containers, when you put them in the microwave,
glass.
Think about it. If you put plastic in the microwave, some of the articles are coming out saying that some of those particles could possibly can get in your food.
I don't use Tupperware in the microwave anyway. I always use glass.
Glass, Pyrex, something microwave safe. But glass is actually better. That's what I use, Donna.
Oh, and it's easier to clean too.
Oh, yeah.
You ever tried to get the spaghetti stains off of Tupperware?
Oh, yeah.
Or something.
Oh, it turns orange.
Yeah, and then I just wind up throwing it away.
Yeah, it's bad.
And I know it's clean. I just have this thing about it.
But if you have some ideas on that, please let us know. You can email us at Cathy@icradio.media or Donna at icradio.media.
The same deal.
So email us and let us know if you have some more tips or ideas that you would like for us to talk about on these little random shows. Like today, we actually have a good topic. We're going to continue on one of the things we started a few shows ago.
I'm going to change that whole format.
Okay,
I think we need to do that for the next show.
Okay.
Because it's going to be, heavy. So you got to really make sure you stay tuned to the next show that's coming up as well. We're going to be kind of copycats. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to be copycats.
Yeah, because we did a lot of recipes last week of ours on the previous shows. So you will enjoy these. These actually won't be mine and Donna's recipes we're sharing. We're copycat,
like well-known stuff, like well-known restaurants, and we're going to be talking about those. But while we're talking about what to do out on the road,
preparing.
We're about to be in hurricane season too.
Yes,
and there's already a few tropical storms out there as well. So what do you do when you get caught and you're in a situation? I wanted to talk about storm shelters.
Okay.
And kids, because I've got to tell you this. We bought the farm my grandparents lived on.
Right.
Well, my Aunt Nova lived just right down the road, and they had a storm shelter.
Right.
So we would come in the summer. We grew up in Oxford, but we would come in Oxford, Alabama. And somebody asked me one time if I was from Oxford, England. Would you think I'm from Oxford, England? No, not with a southern accent. Oxford, Mississippi, maybe, but not England. But anyway, so we were with. My grandparents would freak out every time a thunderstorm would come up. And so we would go to Aunt Nova's house and get in the storm shelter. I was always freaked out at the storm shelter. And the reason I was because to me it meant bad news. Storm shelter was just
it like underground in a building?
Yeah, but the only time we ever went out there was when
it's really bad.
And so it was like, they had to make me go. They would have to drag me in the car for us to get to Aunt Nova's house to get in there. I just wouldn't do it. So I've got ideas, and I know you do too, on how to make it friendlier for the kids. You don't want them worried. You don't want them crying.
No.
I was a handful, I'm sure. So you need to make it a friendly place. Not where they want to stay in it all the time, but what I'm talking about is when you say, let's go to the storm shelter, it won't be a bad thing.
Right.
But there's something my aunt used to do, and she would keep water out there.
Okay, so you go with it. So I'm feeling her on this, and we're gonna talk about storm safety right now. We were talking about ice and snow in your cars.
So let's talk storms. So, what would you put in a storm shelter to make it a friendlier place for the kids?
Well, so you're going to have to elaborate on a storm shelter that doesn't have things in it. With my children, we have a basement. When the kids were growing up, right? So what I always made sure is a place to sleep. I actually used to keep like a twin bed down there, a couch, a TV so we could watch James Spann, because he's the tornado. He always tells us, he always lets us know about the weather. And then waters, snacks, crayons, coloring books. That way, if the power did go out, they'd have something to do other than watching TV. Because
the kids or you?
Oh yeah, well both, right? Yeah. A little radio. I still actually keep that radio and a TV down there. Make sure you got the batteries to run the radio, because usually it doesn't pick up like a weather. It's not a NOAA radio. I used to have one of those though. If you have small children, you need a NOAA radio, to be honest. So go pick you up one at Walmart.
Got one here. Yeah.
But usually I just watch James Spann now that, you know, the kids are older now when they come over. And now my kids still come over. You know, 2 of them that live close by, and the other 2, if they want to come, you know, if the tornadoes are coming, they'll still come get in the basement with us. But I keep a radio, and usually I listen to a local radio station, you know, like an Oxford Woodard Broadcast. I think that, you know, that station. I usually listen to them because they kind of will let us know what's going on if the TV goes out. And you can't get James Spann anymore. But snacks, waters, something for them to do.
Toys if they're little kids, you know.
Oh yeah, toys would be great.
Make it a fun thing,
right? Or games.
But the thing about it though,
flashlight.
You got to have a flashlight.
Got to have flashlights.
And another thing, make sure you have some candles and some matches.
Yes.
Down there, or at least one of those little things that you just.
Or a little lantern type thing. I've got old candles that sit like in a lantern. You can put like a glass globe over them, but it's just a candle. But I did that so that the kids wouldn't knock it over, because it's fire safety too. You have to be careful with those.
Now again, we're getting to the food again. Make sure you recycle the water and the snacks and stuff. Just at least once every 90 days, just in case you get caught down there. But now being in the basement is one thing. But being in a small shelter that's probably about a 12 by 12, a very small, cramped place. Okay, this is what I wish would have happened, okay? And so it wasn't such a scary place to be in. So what you need to do is just take them out there every once in a while. Maybe take the kids out there when it's on a pretty day, and just take them out there, maybe read a story to them.
That's a good
those little golden
idea.
books, I think you can still find little golden books. You know, some good clean books.
Right.
So, and just read to them every once in a while. Bring their books. Make sure you got plenty of pretty cushions down there. With
Is there lights in there?
There wasn't. So
you had to
they
do
would always have a candle and stuff like that. Or they bring some kind of a kerosene lantern or something like that. I'm not sure how safe that was. That was wonder we all didn't get carbon monoxide
poisoning. Yeah, I was fixing to say. But now candles are not as bad. You still can if you have tremendous
soy candles, okay? Because the soy candles are going to burn longer. You know those little tea lights?
What are those?
A paraffin candle. If you burn a paraffin candle tea light, they're just little bitty tiny.
They're white usually.
Usually white. They can be different colors, but they're little tiny ones, about an inch wide, something like that. If you get a paraffin candle, those burn for about 45 minutes.
Wow.
Okay. If you get the soy or the beeswax.
Okay.
It takes a lot longer for those to burn down. You're going to get about 3 hours out of each one of those. And they never get old. So I've still got, just to see if they'll burn. I still have some from 20 years ago. And they still smell good.
So I have a question, and a lot of you probably are thinking the same thing. My question is this, Donna. The candles that you can buy in the gas stations, you see them all the time with they're like a mason jar with a lid. What kind are those?
Well,
are they?
When you're looking at them, it may say soy candle.
Right.
And it may say, and this is a marketing ploy, I'll say. Now, all of my candles are complete soy or they're complete beeswax. I don't do paraffin because I have asthma and I can't stand to even make a paraffin candle. And because it's not a natural product, okay? It's from it's petroleum is what it is. Yeah. And so that's why people with asthma say, well, I can't burn a candle. And so I always ask, well, what kind of candles do you get? And they'll say, well, I get the ones from Yankee. And I'll say, does it say soy or does it say soy based? If it's soy, then you're in good shape. 100% soy candle is what you want. Don't get the soy blend or the soy based, because there's nothing from the government that says it has to be half soy, half paraffin, half anything.
Oh, wow.
It could be 10% soy, 90% paraffin.
Wow.
And I can tell. People have given me
Is that the reason why sometimes it bothers, like when the power's gone out when my children were younger, Or even recently, back a few months ago, I think we had a power outage from the storm and some trees fell. So when you're breathing that and it just feels like your lungs are getting heavy, that's probably what that is.
Yeah. And Yankee
That's
Candles
why I was wondering.
has some wonderful smelling candles.
Oh, yeah,
I
they
love
do.
them just walking by. But I can smell one of the candles and it's not even lit. And I can tell you if it's got paraffin in it. My lungs tell me.
She's going to have to come to my house and sniff out my candles.
I'm just going to go smell her candles. I'm going to go throw that one
probably
away.
when you walk in the door.
Soy. But make sure it's natural.
And I've got some of her candles.
And just because it says soy doesn't mean it's 100% soy.
Right.
So really look out for that. And you can also check ingredients. Sometimes you can check ingredients and they'll tell you what it has.
Wow.
But if it says soy based or if it says soy type, it's not a soy candle.
Right.
It needs to be 100%. So anyway.
Okay, back to our safety rooms. Or what's something else you need? I just thought of.
You need to do soy in the candles.
In
make
the
sure
candles,
it's 100%
yes.
because those little tea lights are going to be. I've had them last up to 6 hours.
Wow, that's
burning.
good.
So that's good. And you want it for, if nothing else, for long lasting.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Jim.
The other thing is, y'all, this is really important. If you have a backup generator, be sure don't plug it up. Don't crank it up near an entrance to your home. Don't put it near a door or a window because you can get carbon monoxide poisoning. Make sure you have a little carbon monoxide detector near your basement. If something happens like your deep freezer, your refrigerator, and your power's out and you need to connect it up to your generator, make sure you've got a good utility extension cord. Usually they're orange. Those are really good utility extension cords. That way you can run it from inside your home, way out the door, close the door, and then hook it up to your generator that is running way outside from your home. Because you can so easily get carbon monoxide poisoning from those. And that's another thing, your refrigerators and your deep freezers. I looked that up the last storm, actually, because I was thinking if you did not open your refrigerator, the food could be good in there for like 12 hours. Wrong. It's not.
Really?
So if the power goes out for more than 4 hours, you actually, by what I read, you're supposed to get rid of all poultry. Eggs, bacon, soft cheeses like shredded, mayonnaise, anything that's got egg products, poultry products, beef, anything, butter, actually can spoil. But now the good thing is with like my daughter, one of my daughters has a refrigerator. It daggum tells the temperature. Can you believe that? On the refrigerator.
That's a smart refrigerator.
So she actually, when she lost power, it was for about 3 hours. And she said when the power came on, she looked to see the temperature. And it was right at 40 degrees. So if it's, I'm pretty sure as long as it's 40 or under, for under 3 to 4 hours, then your things, some of them can be safe, when I read. But you have to look at your refrigerator. Mine's an old one. So I had to buy me a little thermometer. After that happened, I bought me a little thermometer that I could move. And I actually did this little trick. I took a Solo cup, okay, and I just cut it. Just like the first little section. I filled it with water. I put it in my freezer and let it freeze, and then I put a quarter on top of it, and I put it back in the freezer, so that that would let you know if your food in the freezer had defrosted.
Oh, that's
because the quarter would sink in the water, would it
even
not?
if it's just a little bit.
Yeah,
some of it has
because the quarter would sink.
Yeah, I'm throwing that.
If that ice and just that's not even in. Now that's just my little home remedy idea.
Well, I think that's
I didn't get that anywhere. Actually, my husband and I come up with that because we decided with our deep freezers and our freezer, what if we were gone a whole weekend and the power went out during a
just
hurricane
open it
season?
up and look, and if you don't see a quarter,
yeah, if that quarter has failed to the bottom, then you probably should throw out everything in that freezer because probably it totally defrosted.
Yeah. And we don't want you
refroze.
sick. We don't want you sick. Okay, we have a little bit, almost 4 minutes, a little bit over 4 minutes left in the segment. But I wanted to mention this too about making it friendly in one of those small little compartments because of storms coming in. And one of those is have some cushions in there, but make it cartoon characters.
Oh, that's a good
idea. Don't do flowers. Don't do like a black one. Don't do anything like that. It's intimidating. But you know, whatever their favorite cartoon character is,
Mickey Mouse.
Any of those, whatever their character is. Yeah, Donald Duck, Mickey
Winnie
Mouse,
the Pooh,
Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
The kids even know what all that stuff is now.
Yeah, I think they do because a lot of them still watch those older. I saved all those VHS tapes from my granddaughter, actually. We'll be watching them soon.
So do that. Let it be cartoon characters. In other words, it's a friendly place to be there, you know. And
let them feel warm.
Yeah. And another thing is if you can find one of those, I don't know if they still make these or not, but they're little small portable TVs. And back in the day, I saw them, and they would even have like a little hookup where you could put a DVD player.
Yeah, so you can play movies.
Yeah, and have some movies down
there. Now that in my basement when the kids were younger, I had a VCR, VHS tape. Now we have a DVD player, but that's really good because it distracts them.
Yeah,
you know, and make sure that the other most safety type thing. Yes, you want to make sure they feel comfortable and safe. So you've got your flashlight, you've got a radio to where you can hear what's going on. And whether you're in the basement or in one of those storm shelters, make sure that you have pillows, like you were talking about, but in a basement or wherever. Cover their heads. If you do not have a basement or a storm shelter and you can't go to one, put your bike helmets on, those kids.
Good idea.
Because those bike helmets, James Spann even talks about that. Bike helmets, motorcycle helmets.
Go where there's no windows. You want to be somewhere in the middle. Like
smallest
you know where our restroom is? Okay, it's outside. There are no windows, none of that. So it's right in the middle. That's the safest part of the house. And so when the tornadoes hit here a few years ago, we were still living in Charlotte when that happened.
Right.
And so it blew the roof off my brother's house. And what saved them was being in the middle bedroom. There were no windows, and they all got something. Well, Jesus help that.
Right.
But they were in the middle of the house, and it saved them.
And that's what James Spann he'll always say in Alabama. You go to the smallest room, no windows and doors, and interior walls. So in other words, a closet. If you could all fit in there.
Not my closet, so I got them crammed full of stuff. It needs to be walls, no closets.
Yeah, but get out of your car, please. Don't be in a car and the tornadoes are coming in Alabama.
Don't do that.
No, get out, run in the quick rip, and jump in their bathroom.
Do they have tornadoes in Australia? I'm sure they do.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know.
Somebody email us.
So let us know about that. Now, I do know a rare one hit England a few years ago. You remember that? That was just rare. And a tornado actually went through England.
Well, and you know, this is our tornado season coming because it's hurricane season coming.
So we get to spin off.
Yes, and there's some hurricanes out in the Gulf right now that'll probably be moving maybe towards our way in the next future. And there's been a lot of typhoons hitting in Japan right now the past few weeks. So just be safe, be aware. We love you, and thank you for watching our show today.
Absolutely. You're the apple of our eye. You know that. Now, you can always catch us, The Edge with Donna and Cathy. You can catch us Monday through Friday. Now, that's 1 to 3 p.m. Central Time, okay? So make sure you check us out on that. And if you don't mind, like it, and we'll like you right back.
Oh, yes. 1 to 1:30 is our show, and it follows Afternoon Drive Home, and she has some great interviews. So if you're watching our show, just stay with Abundant, because you'll see her next.
Absolutely. So you guys take care. We love you.